Today I'll tell you about the park which in 2009 received the title of the first most beautiful park in Poland and the third most beautiful park in Europe. Suppose you are waiting for your train to depart from the Eastern Railway Station in Warsaw, Warszawa Wschodnia, and still have a few hours. In that case, you have an option to visit Park Skaryszewski, which has several lakes, beautiful trees, paths, animals, and many people walking around. That's how I walked along the park with my bag while waiting for a train from Warsaw. The park is located near the Vistula River and not far from the center of Warsaw. And on its western side from Zelenecka Alley you can clearly see the famous Warsaw skyscrapers around the Palace of Culture and Science. The park is bordering Washington Alley on the south. Here you see a sign with the full name of the park, Skaryszewski Park, named after Ignacy Jan Paderewski. At the intersection of the western and southern borders of the park, there is a central entrance with a bust of Ignacy Jan Paderewski, a Polish pianist, composer and politician, one of the founders of an independent Polish state. At the north of the park is Lake Kamionkowski, the largest lake in the park. It is believed to be the Vistula's old riverbed. The lake was named after the village of Kamion, which stood here in the past. And the name of the park, Skaryszewski, comes from the name of a town of Skaryszew, whose pastures were located in these territories, where the park was created in 1906. Canoe and paddlers are available here for rental. You can see a place marked as a pier on the map. The northern border of the park, strictly speaking, is the southern shore of Lake Kamionkowski. The Polish-German gardens call the northern shore their home. The gardens contain plants typical of Poland and Germany. The visitors can get acquainted with its flora, partly with fauna as well. This sign shows where the fish spawn. A variety of buildings rise above the gardens, including the Roman Catholic Church of the Body of Christ. I enter the park from its western side and almost immediately see a monument to British pilots. In 2015, a fuel tank and a missile were found in the Kamionkowski Lake, most likely from a British aircraft shot down by the Germans over the park on August 14, 1944. I didn't notice the rose garden located behind the monument and did not film the sculpture of a dancer standing in this garden. Instead, my attention was drawn to bright yellow flowers growing on the shore of the lake, part of the park's botanical collection. The park has a rich water system. Ahead is the first bridge across the stream between Kamionkowski Lake and the pond. Titbirds live here. So do rats. Beavers are said to have settled in the park in 2006. But trees had to be protected from their activity, and the beavers were moved to the zoo. Further, the path leads along the pond, which is called Staw na Kosku, but in other sources it is called Swan's Pond. On the opposite side of the pond, the sculpture Bather is marked on the map, but unfortunately I didn't get to it either. And a little further behind the pond there is a monument to the American diplomat and Colonel Edward Mandell House, advisor to US President Woodrow Wilson, and defender of Poland. The next bridge is thrown over a stream connecting two ponds. I am approaching the central alley of the park, where more people are seen involved in more varied activities. Here you can even go in for sports, at least such as badminton. On the main alley of the park since 1946, there was also a monument of gratitude to the soldiers of the Soviet Army. But it was dismantled in 2018. Another stream flows under the main alley of the park. To the right of the path along which I walk, there are several more ponds. One of them is small and unnamed. The next one is bigger. It is called Stavy Kache, that is, the duck's ponds. On the left, I notice a grove of tall, deciduous and coniferous trees and turn towards them. Specialized web pages report that 280 species of trees and shrubs grow in the park, and the original dendrological collection can be considered a treasure. Everywhere there are ponds and various bridges across the streams connecting them. Left up the hill is another memorial stone. It marks the place where the sappers of the Home Army, Armia Krajova, fought with a detachment of the SS Parachute Division Hermann Göring on the first day of the Warsaw Uprising in 1944. I move further along the path and meet a particularly valuable zoological exhibit, which didn't mind pausing a little. And then it turned out that it was precisely behind these stones with children whom I did not dare to film for a longer time that the famous local waterfall turned out to be. Do you hear the sound of water running? And one more sculpture, rhythm. This is how some parts of the first in Poland and the third in Europe most beautiful park look like. I hope you will be willing to visit it when you are in Warsaw. In the meantime, subscribe to our channel Foreign Visitors View and get acquainted with other interesting places. Tatiana Andreeva was with you. See you in the next city or country.